Welcome back to Adventures in Search and Rescue in the Mountains of Northern New Mexico. This posting will actually cover 3 separate missions, which I had the responsibility of resolving. And as you'll see, they all resolved fairly easily, though at the time, I certainly didn't think so. The first one was a missing or overdue hunter, and he had been reported by his wife as not having come out on schedule. On the map she sent me, it was clear that he was somewhere within, if not multiple thousands, tens of thousands of acres. His wife told me that he was an experienced hunter, having hunted in Alaska many times and in the mountains of northern New Mexico many times. I learned that the Rio Arriba emergency management people, that's Alfredo Montoya's people, which I have commented on in other posts, were already on scene and using ATVs trying to find the hunter's vehicle so as to have a starting point to commence a search. I realized at that point there was no need to call out more resources since they were very capable of doing the initial task. And also given that he was an experienced hunter and in all likelihood had hunkered down for the night in what was becoming bad weather. The second mission that I received a call on was for 3 hunters who had gone out hunting, and one of their parties had driven out the night before. And during that night that he had driven out, a significant snowstorm had come in. And as you'll hear in a moment, it was difficult to get back to them. He was concerned that one of the 3 might have been short of his insulin. In any event, they were in a camper with plenty of fuel, food, and water, according to the reporting party, which would have lasted them another 3 or 4 days. With those 2 missions in mind, I called the area commander and indicated to him what was going on and what I had planned to do. With regard to the Alaska hunter, with the Rio Arriba people looking for the starting point and had not yet reported a find on that. And also that we don't normally do health and welfare checks. That is, our 3 hunters in the camper were well provisioned, out of the weather, and were not in any distress that we could determine. The AC agreed with me that the thing to do was to call in a helicopter in the morning to search for the 2. In the interim, I had received a call from another on-call field coordinator of 2 adults and 2 children that were lost nearby the Valle Caldera National Park. They had gone on a short hike on the East Fork of a river, which is a very pleasant hike, and had not come back with the group. So in gearing up for that one, I was told that the Sandoval County Sheriff's Office was on scene. And so I talked to the deputy in charge, and he advised me that they had 2 teams out, one from the trailhead where they had started, and another one on a separate trailhead several miles away, going in the reverse direction. And at the trailhead where the deputy sheriff was, there was cell communication. So that's where I was going to set up incident base for that mission. And given that it was a mother and 2 children and clearly needed assistance, that would be the mission that would get the priority. In the interim, as I was calling out resources for that mission, I had investigated further the 3 campers. And I had learned that the state police officer on scene, along with the reporting party, had tried to drive out to check on the 3. But because of the deep snow, they actually slid off the road, and it took them a while to get the vehicle back on the road, but they couldn't go any further. The reporting party, the one who had driven out, told myself and the state police officer from that point out to the campsite was about 20 minutes by car. which meant that it was the better part of 10 miles or so, and it would have been imprudent to send the team out to do a health and welfare check. It's a hike out 10 miles on snowshoes since the campers were not in any distress. The AC agreed with me on both, and as I was about to go out the door to meet up with the teams and the deputy sheriff on scene, I got a call that his deputies had found the mother and children and that they were all safe and sound. So I stood down the resources that we had called for that mission, and in the morning received a call that the helicopter that had been called out initially searched for the Alaskan hunter. They found him, extracted him from the wilderness, and he was a little bit cold and hungry, but okay. And before they could then get airborne again and search the site for the 3 campers, we got a call from the reporting party that they had driven out. It took them about 8.5 hours to drive the 15 miles or so because of the deep snow, but they were able to cut a path with the Jeep and then tow out the camper with their 4-wheel drive vehicles. So, 3 missions, 1 night and a morning, all resolved successfully without a little bit of pressure, but with a good outcome. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.